Well, hello and welcome to a wet and windy West Wales. And today's video, we're having a little stroll in the drizzle and then it's back to the Bijou Blue Bungalow for a bit of crafting. And I think probably I'm going to do some spinning. I haven't 100% decided, to be honest. I've got a couple of bobbins to put onto Niddy Noddies and finish the yarn. And then I'm finally going back to spinning for the Sophie scarf, which I started ages ago and kind of it got put on the back burner, but I think it's time for it to come forward. Anyway, I'll turn the camera around, show you where we are. So over in the distance, there's Lower Town. We come here a lot. Normally it's a bit nicer when we come here, but it's properly drizzly today. And we're on Slade Beach. And without making you seasick, I'll show you that. Hang on a minute. So this is Slade Beach, and you can see it's absolutely piled up with seaweed and leaves that have come down the river and been washed up here. And this stuff is great for the garden. And at some point, when it's not freezing cold, soaking wet, and blowing a hoolie, I'll come pick some of this up and put it in the compost heap to rot down, because it's so good for the garden. This is a really good driftwood beach as well, and I was sort of toying with the idea of making a driftwood Christmas tree, but you know, I really don't need to give myself any more things to do, so I'll try and just park that on the shelf of possibilities, or write it on a piece of paper, put it in my jar of possibilities, a jar I keep of possible craft projects to stop them whirring around in my brain. I write them on a piece of paper, put them in a jar, and then if I ever get to a point where I don't know what to do, I can just pull one out. And I had a little edit of that jar a couple of days ago actually, and I have done some of the projects in there, so some of them got pulled out. Right, so I'm going to do a little bit of beach combing, just see if there's anything good that I like, sort of nice sea glass or nice sea pottery that I sort of have a small collection, just topping my pots in the garden. It's quite a good way of topping your pots. Andrew, of course, is taking photographs. We've just had our picnic lunch and the dog's having her afternoon walk. But as you can see, it's properly miserable. So we are back from Lower Town and I feel slightly bedraggled. I think I look slightly bedraggled, but I have a window of time for my crafting and it's this time of the day. So I'm here, I'm doing it, whether I'm bedraggled or not. And it's a bit cold in here. I've put the panel heater on because this isn't normally heated in here, this conservatory, but there is a panel heater, so I can sit in here and not be completely freezing. And I have just lit the fire as well. So in the living room, which is that way, the fire is just starting to catch. So it'll be nice and roasty toasty when I go back in there. I might have to go and, you know, kind of check that it's lit okay in a minute, but that's what I'm up to. And Niddy Noddy, and I have this bobbin and a bobbin down here on the wheel that you can't see, and this was the stuff that I spun up for my next shrug project. So all the sort of the blended fibre is all spun and it's been sitting on the bobbin waiting for me to finish it. And then at some point I have to decide what my contrasting colour is going to be. So I think it is a case of going into the stash, see if there's something I can pull out that's going to work with these colours. If I can't find something in the stash, then I'll be spinning something, I guess. So as ever, what are you spinning? What are you working on? What are you knitting, crocheting, weaving, tapestrying, sewing? All the wondrous fibre and textile arts. Are you doing something that's not a fibre or textile art? Are you crafting in some other way? I would love to know. I always love to know. I've sort of been thinking about the possibility of having a private Facebook group, because I ask everybody what they're working on and people tell me, which is really nice. And then, of course, I want to see what they're working on because I'm like, oh, that sounds really nice. I'd really like to see that. And of course, I can't on YouTube. And I was like, I wonder if a private Facebook group would be the thing. I mean, not a paid one, just a free one. And it would be, you know, kind of, I suppose, a place for the fibre arts hive mind to collect. I'm so grateful for everybody who gave me tips on how to comb using my wool combs. I will share a little update on sort of what I've got up to with those, because there's lots of people to thank, because it was really, really helpful, all the different tips that I got. And I thought, well, you know what, this needs to be a video so I can pass on those very helpful tips. Now, of course, the other thing that I need to do is re-record the video on the Lincolnshire long wool. And as I told you in the last video, I'd done my talking head bit, so the kind of sitting down talking to camera, that bit I had done, but the hail was so noisy on the roof because it was really hailing when I recorded it. It just, you couldn't hear what I was saying. So I'm having to start again with that. But I hadn't done the spinning. I hadn't done the spinning even. So yeah, I'd just done the talking head bit, but I will redo it. I'm going to try and redo it so it's out on Sunday. But I have quite a few other things to do. So I've sort of decided that I'm going to make a Christmas pudding. I haven't made Christmas pudding for yonks. I don't think I've made one since we've been here, actually, and we've been here nearly 10 years. So yeah, I probably haven't made a Christmas pudding in 10 years. I used to make one every single year. But because it's just the two of us for Christmas these days, oh, hang on, sorry. I've got a bit of a tangle going on. Yeah, because it's, you know, only two of us. I kind of think, oh, I'll just buy those little mini ones from Tesco's. Other supermarkets are available, as they say. But I'm kind of, yeah, I think I'd quite like to make them. And I was looking at what was on offer. I mean, they're all right, but it is quite nice making your own. Although they take a long time to steam because you've got to kind of make them and then steam them for about 8 hours. And I haven't got a steamer. I used to have a crock pot or a slow cooker. I think crock pot is actually a brand, isn't it? So I haven't got a slow cooker anymore. And I used to do them in the slow cooker and they work really well in the slow cooker. But I managed to smash the bowl and I haven't replaced it. So I haven't got a slow cooker to do it in. So maybe I won't. Maybe I will change my mind on that. We will see. So the other thing I had to say was in my last video, I was wishing people happy Thanksgiving. And of course, I was a week too early. It's Thanksgiving this coming Thursday. And I also found out that Canada has a Thanksgiving. I didn't know Canada had a Thanksgiving, which is in October. So as I didn't know about it, I guess that's an excuse for not wishing people happy Thanksgiving in Canada. And it sort of led on to quite a long discussion in the comments about bank holidays and public holidays, because I was saying, oh, you know, Christmas and Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas in the UK, are bank holidays. And various people were like, what? What's a bank holiday? It's a public holiday. And in the States, I think it would be called a federal holiday. So, yeah, that is, sorry, I was just tying that up. And I've got this long bit here to make my little figure of eights to go around there. Yeah, sorry. Yes, so bank holiday, if a Brit says bank holiday, what they mean is a public holiday. Oh dear. Or a federal holiday. But we don't have Thanksgiving. Yeah, so the Southern Hemisphere doesn't have Thanksgiving either. I have been reliably informed by NZ and Resource Dragon. So I kind of hadn't haven't insulted anybody there, at least. And, I don't think I insulted anybody really. I think I just, kind of, they were like, no, you've got the wrong date. I was like, okay. For some reason, I thought Thanksgiving was the 23rd of November. I don't know why I thought that. Of course, the Sunday just gone here in the UK is what is known as Stir Up Sunday, which is when you are supposed to make your Christmas pudding, which of course I haven't done. So, yeah, which is what made me think about making a Christmas pudding. I don't know whether I actually will or not. I think we'll have to see how it goes. I sort of, I'm feeling a bit like the house is in chaos, and I could do with clearing out a few cupboards. And also, we've got a few things we've decided we're finally going to let go of. There's a few things that we kept from our business, and I think we might actually sell them because they've just been sat in the non-spidery shed, because we have a spidery shed where all the beekeeping equipment is, and it's spidery because it's got holes in it, as the non-spidery shed doesn't have. I mean, there probably are spiders in there, but not as many, and it's kind of waterproof and insulated. And up there is some of the old equipment from our food business, and I think we're actually going to sell some of it because it's just been sat there for nearly 10 years. And when we were still making our own bacon and our own chorizo sausages, then we used it. But as we haven't done that for a long time, I think maybe it's time to say goodbye to it. But it's going to be quite an upheaval. Right, there you go. So you couldn't actually see what I was doing. So I might just change the camera angle a bit so you can see when I do the next one. But quite how I'm going to do that, I don't know. Right, I'm going to check the fire and I'll change the camera angle so you can see what I'm doing. Because maybe you haven't done this before. Maybe using a Niddy Noddy is something that you haven't done. So yeah, let me go and make some adjustments and I'll be back. Start off by just holding with my thumb the end of my yarn and then doing a figure of 8. And if your yarn is sort of running ahead of you on the bobbin, you can put a break on and just have it quite loose, but just enough to stop the bobbin running off with you. See, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I'm doing it at this speed, my bobbin is running ahead of me. So either slow it down or let's just put the brake on, or put the brake on and have it really nice and loose. And then your bobbin's not gonna run off and get tangled up, which is a bit annoying if that happens. So just figure of 8 until it all comes off. And I will show you how I just tie it up when we get there. The other thing that has been sort of going around in my washing machine brain is I'm thinking about what videos I want to make next year. And I kind of wrestle with this kind of question all the time as to how seriously I want to take YouTube, because I really enjoy making YouTube videos, and I love the whole kind of knowing what people are working on and talking to people who live in different countries, have different experience of crafting. Just love it. And I don't ever want to lose that because it's just, it's just lovely. I've said this before, I really miss going to a crafting group. And because I am a full-time carer, I just can't get to a guild meeting or a crafting group. So this is sort of my virtual crafting group. And I have thought about doing a Zoom crafting group, or, doing a live or something like that. But just, I don't think I can kind of commit to a set time each week or each month to do it. But I did think, well, maybe we could have a private Facebook group, and then I could sort of post things rather than having to sort of do live videos. But it is not something I want to do if people are just not interested, because I don't want to, I don't want it to be paid. I don't want it to be kind of a big deal. Then, maybe there are just enough crafting, spinning Facebook groups out there that I don't need to do it. So if there is a good Facebook group that you like, just let me know. Oh, do you know what? Oh no, hang on. I was going to say I'm going to cut that off there. Cut that. So I was thinking I would cut that there and make that a new leader, but I won't, because I very lazily tied it on. And I already have a leader, which is hiding under that. Okay, so how do I tie this up? So I've got my two ends now, and I just sort of go back until I've got them lining up like that, and do a granny knot. I mean, if you can do a reef knot, it's probably better, but do a granny knot. Then we've got a nice end, and I can cut that into 8. And then I can tie up my skein, so when it is being finished, it doesn't get into a tangle. And I have tried less than 8. I've tried 4. Somebody told me, oh, you don't need to do that. You only need to do 4. Well, I got mine in a tangle when I only had 4, so I put 8 on. And I am always willing to accept that it might well be operator error rather than, you must have 8 ties. I have just found that 8 ties works. Okay. Well, when I went and checked the fire, when I was changing camera angles, the fire had burnt out, so I had to relight it. And I haven't checked it since. So I'm just going to see if I can peer around the corner. I'm just peering around the corner. My head probably went into shot then. And yes, it is now alight, but it is kind of going gangbusters. So I probably need to go and kind of attend to it in a minute. So despite the fact I thought maybe I would do the spinning of this, there you go, I hope that's in shot, there you go, for that, which is for the safety scarf, I think that's another video, because I have to go and sort out the fire, then think about sorting out what we're eating tonight. Not that it's very complicated, but we kind of, because we've been out, I'm a bit behind with my chores, so I need to do a few chores. Right, here we go. So I'm going to just sort out the fire again, and I'll be back in a minute. I am back, and the fire is under control and, lit and unlikely to go out at this point, which is always good. So we've sort of changed from using logs. We had a wood-burning stove put into this property when we moved in. So we've been here nearly 10 years. So we've sort of had 9 years of burning logs. And I said probably last year, and I probably said it on the channel, that I would we'd keep burning logs until I couldn't split logs anymore, and then we would kind of change to something else. Well, I think that time has come, because although I physically am strong enough to split the logs, my back and kind of a lifetime working in catering, I have a bad back. My back is not strong enough. I kind of am starting to get a bit of a problem with sciatica, and I've had it for years. But splitting logs, I looked at the logs. We were kind of, okay, let's buy this year's kind of couple of tons of logs or however many we normally buy. I think it's normally 1.5 tons we buy. And I was like, do you know what? I don't think I want to split logs all winter. I don't think my back will cope. So we have changed to little heat logs. And yeah, liking them so far. Really liking them so far. Very convenient. Nowhere near as kind of messy and bulky, and I can buy them in quite small amounts. Can buy them down in the garage down in Goodwick. They've got them at Lidl at the moment, so I've tried some from Lidl and I've ordered some on Amazon as well. It's Black Friday deals, and I thought, well, I'm going to try those, see what they're like. And of course, I can also order a pallet, but I don't want to order a pallet until I've decided that actually, yes, we are gonna stick with them. But so far, so good. So I watch Frugal Queen in France, is the channel called, I think, and they have a pellet stove, and they were saying how great it was, and I was like, oh, I think maybe at some point I want one of those, but probably not until I kind of really can't make the fire, because as I say, the wood burner is only 10 years old, so it's got at least another 10 years, if not more, left in it. And we had a chimney put in. We had a twin skin stainless steel chimney. I think that's what they're called, isn't it? So we had that put in, and they're guaranteed for at least 20 years. So we definitely have another 10 years in that wood burner and the chimney before we maybe have to think about replacing it. And, you know, we do live by the coast, so everything kind of does corrode eventually. Even stainless steel appears to start to rust. It was like, how is that possible? It's stainless steel. But, you know, salt air, and of course, it's very windy. We're on the north coast, so we get kind of hit with a real blast of northerly in the winter, and it does kind of corrode everything eventually. Although our dear friend that lives kind of, I'm pointing down there like you can see it. The person who lives down there, they've had their chimney in for 20 years and it's still going strong. So hopefully it's all kind of under control and we won't have to worry about it. But I saw that, as I say, I saw that pellet stove and kind of thought, yes, that's the upgrade, isn't it, at some point? Not at this point, but at some point. So I get quite a lot of feedback that you like these chatty videos, these kind of craft and chat videos. I really love making them, so I will keep making them. And you know, as much as I like also making the kind of how to dye with this, how to kind of spin this, and all those sort of other ones that I make, actually sitting down and just chatting about crafting and life and stuff, it is so nice. I really enjoy it. So I hope you really enjoy it. And I will see you in a few days' time.